In this video, let's talk about whether you should sell or rent your home. I'm Eric Peterson, owner of Kopa Real Estate, and let me know what you think and any questions in the comment section. So because we have a market-proven system to sell investment properties, that's always been a good portion of our business. And this year, we've been contacted by an unusually large number of investors who are considering selling their investment property. Some of the investors think the market is nearing a top, while others have decided being a landlord just isn't for them. So if you're thinking about selling your investment property, here are a few questions to ask yourself. The first would be do you want to be a landlord? So I believe that successful investors enjoy owning investment properties, and they run investment properties like a business. If you don't enjoy some of the negative aspects of owning rental properties, such as dealing with tenants or having to lease a home, then maybe being a real estate investor may not be right for you. And even if you use a property manager, you'll inevitably have tenant headaches. So think about how you will handle those situations. Second is, if you didn't own it, would you buy it? And you're probably be like me and have discovered you're more successful financially when you have an overall plan. So how does owning a rental property fit into your plan? What percentage of your net worth will be tied up in the property? In general, renting a single family home has the least economy of scale and the greatest single point of failure from an investment standpoint. And this is something to think about, especially before converting an owner-occupied home to a rental property. Next is, what is your actual return on investment? So when calculating ROI, many investors will simply compare the difference between the rents collected and the mortgage payment. And often this calculation leaves out weeks of not collecting rent when the home is being leased, management and leasing fees, necessary repairs, and make-ready costs. So when calculating your ROI, be sure to include those expenses. And if this is an owner-occupied property, well, you will lose the benefit of the homestead exemption. Be sure to calculate your payment with a higher property tax payment. And it's also not likely the recent appreciation will continue forever. So if the market returns to normal historical appreciation, would you still want to own the house, right? Next is, have the rental rates kept up with the property value? And we've seen some tremendous appreciation in home values over the last several years. And many areas have not seen a corresponding increase in rental rates. And if you have a tenant vacating your home after a long period, you may be surprised that the rental rates may not have increased correspondingly with the property values and the property taxes you'll pay. So next is, what else can you do with your money? And owning an investment property can be a great way to build wealth. However, some homes are better than others when it comes to a profitable investment. Every year, you should be evaluating all of your investments and compare them to other options available that might be more profitable. This is especially true for investors who built up a large amount of equity in the homes, causing the ROI to be low compared to other passive investments. I would also consider what expenses you have coming up. So are you facing major expenses on the horizon? Those expenses may eat up all of your profits very quickly. You know, the upside of it, holding onto an investment property for a couple more years, can easily be lost if you're faced with expensive items to replace. And from a tax standpoint, are you facing the capital gain tax deadline? So if you can still qualify for the capital gains exclusion and don't plan to hold a property for a long term, you should consider the expected appreciation versus additional taxes you may have to pay. Now, I've already talked about several families who didn't understand how this tax exclusion worked and wound up missing this deadline. That's a disaster, right? Next is, do you need to get the home ready anyway? And perhaps your last tenant, they moved out and caused extensive damage, and you're now faced with an expensive make-ready. Since you'll need to spend the money to make the home show ready to rent or sell, this may be a good time to consider selling. Otherwise, if your plan is to only hold a home for another year or two, at that time you may be faced with more of the same expenses if your tenant causes damage to the property. Whenever you're ready to talk about your options for your investment property or whether you want to sell or rent a property, call or text me directly at 512-791-7473 or Eric at Kopa Real Estate. You can also schedule a time if it's more convenient with my online calendar at copaseller.com. Thanks so much for watching, and we appreciate your support.